Hi, it's Dr. Sherry with Titan Elite Coaching. I had a really fascinating conversation today with a client, and he gave me permission to share a few pieces about it with you today. So the topic of our session today was around psychological mastery. Now, the question that I specifically asked him that really started this unique conversation was, if there was one belief that you could change about yourself that would totally ramp up and increase your confidence and success, what would it be? This kind of actually stumped him. He was thinking about it. He's like, well, what he ended up saying was something to the effect of, well, I really believe that if I grow and get too much momentum, that I'm going to change too quickly, and I'm going to end up not staying consistent with my values. So we took that belief and we dug deeper into it, and it turns out that that's really not even a belief of his at all. It was just an idea. So the next question is, well, what is the difference between an idea and a belief? Like, aren't those kind of the same thing? And they actually aren't. And it's so important that you understand the difference between an idea and belief that this whole video is about that exact thing. Over the last 20 years that I've been doing counseling and now coaching, this is one of the single most challenges that I see in the average person, that we accept thoughts as beliefs. So now let's break it down a bit. Okay, so what's a thought or an idea? It's something that pops into your head and you think about it. And an idea really doesn't mean that it's true or not true. It just means that it's kind of like, think about it like a hypothesis. It's a hypothesis. And your job with an idea is to test it. Test the hypothesis. Is this really true? Is there evidence, or is there evidence against it? And your job then with an idea is to determine if you are going to then move it along and integrate it into your belief system as a belief. So a belief is different because it is something that as soon as you think it, you have the thought, as soon as you have a belief thought, you act on it right away as if it is true. It's not a hypothesis. It's now more like a law, like the law of gravity. You just assume the truth of whatever popped into your brain. Now, this is critical to understand the difference, because I see time and time again that people will accept an idea or a thought and assume it's a belief, and they integrate that into the core of their being. Here's a very concrete example. I often see people they have thoughts such as, I am not worthy, I suck, I am, whatever, I am horrible at this, or I'm, whatever the situation is, but let's just stick with I'm unworthy. So they have this thought, I am unworthy. Now, a lot of times that thought comes from way in their past. It comes from maybe a bully at school used to say that, and it just kind of stuck. And that thought comes out every now and then. Maybe it was a horrible parent, didn't know what they were doing, or they just were flat out horrible. And maybe they told you at some point that you are not worth much. And so that thought gets stuck in here, and you start to incorporate it as a belief into your belief system. If you can reverse that and recognize that maybe it's not a legitimate belief, but it actually might belong more in the idea category, which requires you to treat it as a hypothesis to either confirm or disconfirm, that could save you a lot of time and energy and heartache and loss of momentum in life, because now, instead of treating these negative thoughts about yourself as automatically true and then bringing you down and keeping you stuck, you can free yourself by determining through confirmation or disconfirmation that they're not really true, and then you're free of that, and then you can move on. And then the next time that same thought pops in your mind, because it will, it's ingrained, it lives somewhere in your brain, and it's going to pop up again. But instead, the next time it pops up, you're not just going to assume it as a belief and it's true. You will remember, no, wait, this is not a belief, this is an idea. I'm going to, again, disconfirm this idea, and I am going to put it out of my brain. Now, I realize this sounds like a simple solution, and it actually is. There's this theory or idea in science that the simplest solution is usually the correct one. So this is a simple solution, and at the same time, it's super hard and it's super challenging. So my encouragement to you is don't accept your thoughts as truth, but rather accept them as just an idea and work on disproving them if they're not working for you.